Well, hello everyone and welcome back to Shutters and Speed and to another episode of Meet the Classic Bike. The only thing is this is going to be slightly different. It's more like reveal the classic bike, or it's going to be a bit of a retro look back on the bike, this particular bike, and its history. So you're probably wondering who all these people are that are beside me. What we'll do is we shall run them their titles, boy, as we say here in Norfolk, and get into who these people are. Yeah, so welcome back to Shutters and Speed. Yeah, we've got a very special edition of Meet the Classic Bike today, and as I said earlier, it's more of a reveal than a meet, because we have this machine in front of us and the three owners from various points in its life, from the current to the sort of second current, if you like, and to somebody who goes way back. So we've got quite a history of this bike, as it turns out, so hopefully that'll be great. Now the thing is, Steve here hasn't seen this bike in the flesh for some time. He's the sort of the oldest person in the group, as it were, in terms of ownership. He owned this bike about 30 odd years ago. Yeah, so earlier this year I went to a bike meet in Narborough, in the middle of the West Norfolk countryside, and I met Steve here, interviewed him about this lovely MotoGuzzi of his, and if you want to see that video, then a link will appear up here somewhere in the screen or in the description below. But earlier than that this year, Mick held another open day in his workshop, which I did a video to portray, and I found, or Steve found, that while watching that video, he noticed the registration number of this machine, and then promptly got in touch with me to say that he previously owned this bike many, many years ago. So that is the reason we're here today. So what we're going to do now is reveal this machine to Steve, let him have a look at it as it is now, and then we'll have a brief chat with everybody and their history with the bike concerned. So off you go, boys. Right, so here it is. This is the first time Steve's seen it in some years. So what do you reckon then, Steve?
I think they've done a beautiful job. I bought it as a ride to work hack. It was tatty, probably original, had a horrible leather red top to the seat, yeah, which probably lasted longer than it should. But overall, she is, as I remember, just lovely. So
just give us a brief history, Steve, as to how you actually acquired it in the first place.
I was looking for a British bike. I had a collection of scooters and Japanese heavyweights at the time, and my father was on BSAs and I'd always wanted one. I found a man in West Norfolk, a dealer, or an amateur dealer, very hard man to deal with, taught me a lot about negotiation. He had a good collection, bought at auction, and I went to him and he didn't want to sell me anything, which I think was a tactic, and in the end I just said, well, I'll give you £800 for it, and I got the money out, and he just looked. He said, do you know, you're the first Norfolkman that's brought the cash with him and not messed me around. And we had a long relationship of buying and selling bikes. I used it to get to work from Downham to Thetford, and it did until it had a few catastrophic engine problems. But then I did learn how to take a pre-unit apart and put it back together again. And that was the start of a long relationship with British bikes.
So what made you, or what was the reason for parting with it, as it were?
At the time, my wife was riding reasonably high-powered Japanese bikes, and I just couldn't keep up on the holidays to Cornwall and Scotland, and ended up buying a T140E off the same man I bought the BSA off. And the BSA sat there for a while languishing, and I kept favouring the Triumph until the day that I sold it.
Okay.
Did regret it.
Yes, of course. Right, so we move on a few more years, and it came into our good friend Nev's here, ownership. So Nev, how did you acquire it?
Well, I rebuilt a tractor.
Yeah. And
I hadn't really got room for a big trailer to keep taking this tractor out, so I sold it. Then I bought this from Tony Jeffries at Littleport. The man's long gone now, and I had it 3 or 4 years. Put new clutch in it, new tyres, and had one or two things checked over. But then I never used it like I ought on it. You know, I never rid it as much as I wanted to. The wife didn't really like me going out on it, so it was too big and heavy. So I thought I'd swap it with Mick and swapped it for the Lambretta. So it's something different.
Yes, well, that's great, and that's pretty much what happens with bikes nowadays,
Yeah,
isn't it? You
yeah.
know, the custodianship of them moves around quite
yeah.
significantly. So
Probably regret it. I probably regret selling it.
well, I
but,
think you did say off camera
Yeah.
that you might want it back, and I know
Well,
Steve is quite keen as well.
I daren't buy no more, else I should be locked out
Yeah.
here. So
So we'll now move over to Mick here, the current owner.
Yeah.
So as we learned from Nev just a little while ago, we learned that you sort of done a bit of a swap for a scooter. So what is your, you know, I know your ownership is quite brief compared to some of these, but what do you think, and what have you done to it since you've had it?
Well, I mean, going back to the same garage party that Steve saw the bike parked over there, Nev was basically standing next to the Lambretta and he was pouring the handlebars. I said, "You really like that, don't you?" He said, "Yeah, that'd be really good." So that's where we came up with the, you know, they're worth about the same-ish,
Yeah.
you know, let's swap. I'd went round Nev's place and he opened the shed, hadn't been started for ages, first kick ran. And so I knew, looking at it, there was an excellent bike there. So we did the deal at the garage party. I went round to Nev's to have a look at it, proper look at it. And I said, "Can I start it?" He said, "Yeah." First kick, it ran.
Wow.
I hadn't been ran for quite some time either. And so clearly there was a good bike. It was a good bike. Nev was quite open about the fact that there was a couple of issues with it. One was the timing chain here needed adjusting, which is straightforward enough. The other was not quite so straightforward, and that was the inner primary chain case. It got a hole in it, but Eric Shreve in the village, him and his son-in-law, I think it is, welded that up for me. So primary drive off, got that sorted, put it back on. It's a really good bike, and my intention was to offload it fairly quickly, but the longer I keep it, the less inclined I am to sell it. It really is a good, dependable bike.
Yeah, which I think is what you found, Steve.
It was, yep, after its initial catastrophic failure.
Yeah.
Once it was rebuilt, we put a lot of time and effort into it. It was a great riding bike.
Yeah. The one thing we haven't covered yet, chaps, is what exactly is it? So, Mick, perhaps you'd like to tell us what it is.
It's a 1961 BSA A10.
Right.
So it's a pre-unit. The A65 was later. That was a unit, but it's a 650cc BSA. A bit of a cooking model. The one thing that isn't standard about it is it should have like a beak here. I wouldn't say a nacelle because that's what the Triumph's called, but like a round beak here, which I did think about finding the shroud and putting it back to standard, but it would be so much hassle, and quite frankly I think I quite like the more sporty look, and that's why it would have been done at some point in the past, because they look quite rather frumpy, but whereas the separate headlight suggests it's a more sporty model.
Okay. Well, thanks for that then, boys. Well, I think Steve is obviously probably very keen to now he's seen the thing, is to maybe get out for a spin on her and see how she feels from now on. So I think that'll be the next thing we do. We'll be going out for a spin on the lovely BSA A10 with Steve and reuniting him with it after about 30 years or so. And before we do, as ever, let's take a good look around this fabulous machine. So as we depart from Mick's place, we're out on the old BSA A10 and I'm on Mick's Harley. So Steve, how does it feel?
Oh, it feels great. I mean, it's very stable, and just coming off my MotoGuzzi, it feels like a bike that's 20 years newer than it is.
So the subsequent owners have looked after it very well.
Yeah, mechanically it's very good. Brakes work well. Clutch is amazingly smooth. Ticks over beautifully. Yeah, you couldn't want for a better rideable machine.
Well, that's fantastic.
I wish you'd get out of my way though, so I could get on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as you know, I'm new to this one, so I'm taking it very steadily. And of course, we are in a speed limit, Steve. So we do have to be.
Oh yeah.
But we'll be onto some faster roads in a short while, so no worries about that. And I'll let you come by, and we can have a listen to it as it comes by, which will be fantastic.
That Harley doesn't look as big from behind, unlike a few. Sorry.
Yeah.
Unlike some of those other Transalp type bikes.
That actually feels really quite light and flickable. Well, I say, I don't know about light, but it's not too bad. You know, it really is, and it does ride the bumps quite nicely. It's got this fancy automatic suspension, which apparently adapts to the road conditions and the rider weight and all that malarkey. And it seems okay. It seems okay.
Good. I've just got a set of springs, and they're doing the job.
Oh,
well.
are they? Yeah, yeah.
You ready to go
Yeah,
past?
absolutely. Well, that sounded very nice.
Try not to give it too many revs. Yeah. She wants to go.
Yeah, that's the way. I think at this point, I know we'll probably do so later in the video, Steve, but you've got to say that's a brilliant thing for Mick to let us out on these two machines.
Yeah. Great day for it as well.
Absolutely. So now you're on faster roads, what do you think?
Yeah, it's as smooth as I thought it was going to be. I do remember it being very smooth.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it was always a very smooth bike, even compared to things like the Z900 my wife was riding at the time.
Really? Oh, right. Well,
it's just it couldn't do the distances.
No.
Without the maintenance issues. That was the only reason I parted with it.
I see. Well, you look at one with it, I've got to say, from my angle, you look as though you're made for it.
Oh, don't tell Mick that, I'll drive the price up.
Yeah.
And what I was saying this morning about British bike speedos flickering,
yes.
This one doesn't. This is a quality Smith's item that's as steady as the bike itself, which I admire greatly from an engineering point of view. So if I get caught speeding, it'll be my own fault.
Yeah, we don't want any of that, do we? I must say, I'm starting to see the virtues of this Harley.
Have you checked the price tag first, though?
Yeah.
Don't fall too in love till you know what the finance payments are.
Yeah, that is a relevant point. That has to be said. Well, it took us a little while to get this together, Steve, but I've got to say it's all been worthwhile, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's amazing how fate takes a turn. I'm now half interested in where all the other bikes are that I've parted with over the years. I could spend the next 20 years tracking them all down.
I don't know about you, but I do sometimes look it up on the old MOT checker. You know,
Oh, it's something I haven't done, but I should really.
Because my old RD 250 LC that I owned in the early 80s, that is actually still on the road, but it's now a 350.
And they're the bikes that are increasing in value now.
Yes. Oh yes, yeah. Anyway, we're now coming on to quite a nice stretch of road, so you'll be able to really experience the old BSA. We couldn't have wished for a better day.
No, it's amazing. The roads have dried out nicely.
Yeah, and they're clean, aren't they? Nice and grippy.
Yeah.
You know, they've had a bit of sun on them. What a better day to, you know, have a little ride out on something like that. Fantastic. Whoa, here we go. That's the way, Stephen. So what was it like now you've cleared its throat?
Yeah, it goes
Yeah.
well. The vibration, the usual fine vibration kicks in at about 60, just through the handlebars and feet, but it's not unpleasant, and you're enjoying the stability of it. It plants itself really well. You point it, it goes where you point it.
Wow.
Doesn't roll anywhere, does exactly what you do for a responsive bigger bike.
Yeah. But also, you know, you've got that all that in a very lightweight package.
Yep. Gears are nice and crisp. They click in pretty well once you get the feel for them.
Well, that's great to hear.
I can see why I used to ride it to 30 miles to work and back.
Yeah, they were 30 miles of fun.
Yeah, it would have made the misery of going to work much more pleasant.
Yeah, excellent.
It dodges the drain covers quite
Yeah,
nicely
yeah,
as well,
yeah.
which is a all-important feature these days.
Yeah. And I did notice then you seem to be able to flip that really quickly and really, you know, accurately.
Yeah, she just rolls pretty accurately.
Yeah.
It's got a slightly larger front tyre than it normally would have had. I think a 3.5 inch instead of a 3 1/4.
Right.
But it doesn't seem to suffer from it.
No.
I'm pretty certain they were originally slightly narrower, but
Yeah.
but it doesn't make any difference. The tyres may be a cheaper aftermarket tyre, but you wouldn't know it.
No. So it doesn't. It seems to turn in quite nicely. Yeah.
Probably the cheaper aftermarket tyres are probably as good as a 1960s Avon anyway.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing that has really improved in recent years. I mean, I had a comment on one of my recent videos because I often harp on about brakes when I do these types of rides, and how modern bikes seem to have such fantastic brakes. And one chap pointed out, he said, well, of course, he said the thing you've got to remember is that the materials that they use nowadays are so much better. And if you get modern braking materials into something like you're on now, then there'll be a difference in that respect as well, won't there?
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, and tyre compounds will be the same.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I remember I was telling you about how I'd fitted cheap Chinese copy carburetors to my MotoGuzzi and it transformed it from its Del Autos.
Yes.
Just because they're a modern design with better tolerances.
Yeah.
So I'm not adverse to uprating classic machines with a little bit of modern technology.
No. Well, that's interesting.
Just for safety's sake.
I had a ride out to Walkers on the Barton Mills roundabout recently, and I spoke to a chap there who's and he's got a Fizzy, Yamaha Fizzy, and he was telling me how immaculate it was, but he didn't think that would be worth much money, or as much money as it should be, because it didn't have matching numbers. But does that really matter, so long as it goes well?
No, I think if you're going to store them and hope they appreciate as an investment, that might be important to you. But I think generally the bikers that we know, they're out to ride and enjoy them.
Yeah.
And as Mick was saying earlier, this isn't quite original. It's missing a few bits, but it doesn't suffer as a bike. It's still attractive. It still rides well. Why would you worry about it?
Absolutely.
Okay, it might be a little less value, but it's not what you're buying it for.
We came over that dip in the road, which is quite nasty back there. How did you feel with it over that?
I didn't notice it.
Well,
I noticed it on my MotoGuzzi this morning.
Because it's quite a nasty one, isn't it?
It is, No, until you mentioned it, I'd forgot all about it. I just went straight over the top of it.
That was, obviously that was. I was looking forward to seeing what you thought of it on these types of roads, but I thought that was a really good test of how that would ride, you know, really bad bumps. And the fact that you hardly noticed it was testament to the bike's, you know, ride quality.
Yeah, no, it's really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
We ought to carry on and go to Hunstanton for a coffee and a donut, didn't we?
Well, tell Mick I'm taking it home and I'll send him a cheque.
That's the way. That's the way. Keep the old Guzzi in part exchange.
Yeah, leave that there. I'm sure he says he's not selling it, but as a sales rep by trade now,
Yeah.
everything has a
Well, it
price.
does. Yeah. But I mean, you know, it's. I always think we're never, you know, it's nice to have them in the garage, and it's really nice to have a go on them. But it's great that there are so many people out there that are preserving these things for future generations.
Yeah. Now I've currently got an AJS in the garage, just sat in a barn since 1975 in Leicester.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing. I felt sorry for
Yeah.
it. I wasn't looking for another bike,
No.
but they do need to be. We need to keep them going.
Yeah. I was a bit nervous taking this thing round the roundabout, but I got round all right.
No, I took it fairly careful too.
Yeah.
That's not the easiest roundabout to get round.
No. And that's even worse when you're on somebody else's valued machinery, isn't it? You're the last thing you want
Agreed.
to do. You know, you have to treat these things with the utmost respect. What a sound! What a soundtrack!
It's vibrating your camera a bit, so I've just adjusted it.
Yeah, okay, yeah, not a problem.
Hopefully that should work.
Yeah, that's all right. That's used to a little bit of movement. There we go.
There you go. I felt the bump that side.
Yeah,
The nice thing is I'd have ridden this road on it when I first had it.
oh right.
As we lived in the area, this was me and one of my wife's favourite runs, and we'd have gone round the back to Ely, Cambridge, then Newmarket, back to Swaffham. That would have been a big ride out of a summer's evening. So it's not the first time I've ridden this road on this
Right,
bike.
right. So it's a real trip down memory lane for you in many ways.
Yeah, in many respects.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I'm so glad that we met when we did, Steve, and we was able to put this together. That's been a fantastic story.
Now there's a lot of memories attached to this bike. Even the guy I bought it off became a close friend. He died far too early, and I was a young bloke, didn't know much, and he taught me a lot about bikes. He taught me a lot about buying and selling. He was a real genuine guy. Hard guy to get to know, but once you knew him, you had a friend for life.
Yeah, a real old Norfolk boy. Well, as ever in these sorts of videos, I'd just like to say a huge thank you to Mick for allowing us to take the old BSA Gold Flash out on a ride, and for him to allow Steve the opportunity to reunite himself with an old classic that he owned in the early 1990s. And I think you know, it's been a fantastic morning spending time with all these lovely people and these bikes. So we've got the opportunity now on the way back to Mick's place to go through a few more bends as ever on this quite familiar route now to you viewers, and hopefully Steve will have enjoyed it as much as I've enjoyed putting this all together.
I won't be able to drink the tea when I get back. I'll just be smiling so much.
Yeah, that's great.
You'll
mean-
have to give me a straw.
The thing is, that's so lovely. When you were younger, you just wanted to go fast all the time. But when you're riding through, you know, places like this at this sort of speed, you just have so much time to take, like you say, take in the views and just enjoy the ride, don't you? You know.
Yep.
Well, I'm sure we're now in the final throes of our ride out on these bikes, and Steve has reunited himself with the BSA A10, and I'm sure he would just like to yet again reiterate and join in with me in thanking Mick for allowing us to have a ride on the machine today.
Yeah, thanks, Mick. It's been a real privilege to ride it again, and who'd have thought? You'd never have guessed that you'd be reunited with a bike 30 odd years after.
Fantastic, thank you, and we'll see you back at base.
With a quick release, Steve.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, Steve, after a lovely ride round on this fantastic old BSA A10 Golden Flash, what do you think?
I think she's beautiful. I think I definitely have another A10.
Yeah.
Probably I'm not going to get this one off Mick, but
Well, you never
still
know.
a usable bike.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I must say I had a great deal of fun following you on Mick's beautiful Harley here, and I know we had a really nice ride out, and it was from where I was riding behind you. It sounded fantastic,
Yep.
and I think we both had a great time, quite frankly. So I think that just about sums it up. I think I can see the smile on your faces says it all, and I think you might have an auction then, Mick, about, because I know Nev is quite keen here to perhaps repossess it, if you like. So that's great, and it's been a wonderful experience to have you here and get this together and set this up.
Yeah.
So I'd also like to thank Mick for holding this up. Yeah, what's the word? Hosting, that's it.
I'd like to thank Mick for trusting me with his BSA.
Yeah,
Pleasure.
and it's great. It's great that you hosted this for us yet again, Mick. So thank you very much for that.
Worries. Thank you.
And that's a great pleasure to have Nev on board as well. And it's always interesting to talk to previous owners.
Yeah,
So thank you very much for that,
No
Nev.
problem.
Absolutely. So without further ado, everybody, I think we will call a halt to proceedings here and now. We've had a great time with this wonderful old classic, and I hope you enjoy watching the video. And if you have, I hope that you would like and subscribe. So it's goodbye from Mick,
Goodbye.
it's goodbye from Steve,
Goodbye.
and it's goodbye from Nev,
Goodbye.
and it's goodbye from me. And until next time, as we say here in Norfolk, do you keep on a troshin', boy. Well, we're recording. Hello. Yep, good.
Excellent bike there. Sorry, we're filming. Hang on. Where was I?
You come round to mine.
Yeah. So anyway, so I'm sure you'll let us in.
Yeah.
So we hang on. Do you want to do that again? Because the garage party was this year.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was this year. And your audience are so clued up.
Yeah.
Back and they'll go, hang on a second, Steve's
Was it-
talking a load of bollocks.
Was it this year?
Yeah. This is the third one this year.
This year?
Yeah, this year.
Right, okay. Right, I'll do that
It's
again then.
August.
When was that then?
About March time.
Oh, right, okay,
Yeah.
okay. So, I've
Can you remember
all-
what you said?
I think so.
It's going to be a long outtake.
Yeah,
session.
it is, yeah. Oh, hang on a minute. Yeah, so earlier this year,